Hearing of the Senate Foreign Relations Subcommittee on the Near East, South Asia, Central Asia, and counterterrorism will come to order. Today we're holding a hearing on the findings of the bipartisan Syria Study Group. The Syria Study Group was established by Congress with the purpose of examining and making recommendations on U.S. military and diplomatic strategy with respect to the conflict in Syria. I want to recognize my colleagues, particularly Senator Shaheen and my friend, the late Senator John McCain, for their efforts to establish this working group. We also wish to honor the American men and women who have died as part of Operation Inherent Resolve, the campaign against ISIS in Syria and Iraq. Finally, I want to thank our witnesses here today for their willingness to take up the task of examining an extremely complex problem with no easy solutions. As the report states, quote, "Optimal outcomes were left behind long ago," end of quote. It's never easy to devote time and resources to a task whose main goal is often to prevent worse things from happening. I happen to believe that this report comes at a very timely point in our nation's history. According to press reports, ISIS is regrouping, and that there are some 15,000 ISIS fighting individuals on the ground, that there are some 70,000 in refugee camps that are ISIS supporters. Mr. Assad has repeated chemical attacks, despite the fact that we once drew a red line. That red line seems to be more like a green light. Turkey is hostile to the intent towards the Kurd individuals, the Kurd-led Syria Defense Forces, which we back, and presents a real threat to them. Idlib is apparently a province that's being held by various terrorist groups, including Al-Qaeda. Iran has 2,500 troops which are located on the ground there. Russian mercenaries have launched or did launch a surprise attack on U.S. troops there. So there's a great deal of swirling around this part of the world. We have, as a nation, the administration has announced its withdrawal, and I think one of the questions is whether this is a political interest that's being pursued or a national interest that's being pursued, and particularly the recommendations that are going to come forward from this group are of most interest to me, and I'm sure other members of the committee and the administration. Your report does include conclusive, thoughtful recommendations to address these challenges and how best to adjust our strategy towards Syria to minimize the threats in the future, and I look forward to hearing more of your thoughts today. And with that, I'll turn the time over to Senator Murphy for his comments.